Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video, and yeah, we're back. It's been a long time. It's been a very, very long time, and I know this video is, what, nearly a month old, and the MLB season started over a week ago, but I've been wanting to do sports reactions. I've sort of been, because it's been so long, I've sort of been putting it off now. It's kind of just, I've been overthinking like the fact that I've not been doing reactions in so long. I don't know, you know, just sometimes when you sort of battle with yourself thinking, should I post now? Will people want me to post or whatever it is? But now they're back, and reactions they're gonna take, it's not gonna be every single day, especially with my Wi-Fi. I've mentioned it in videos before, but I assume a lot of people won't know because I haven't mentioned it on this channel. I'm still using 4G. I'm using 4G until the middle of May. I initially thought I was gonna get the Wi-Fi, what was the month? March the 15th. And I realised I read my email wrong, and it was actually May 15th, and I realised that on the date, and it's still a month and 5 days before I get my Wi-Fi. So that's frustrating, but I'm going to be trying to do maybe 4 or 5 videos a week. Again, I don't want to promise because I don't want to just make this and then sort of change it. But I'm going to be trying to do the sports reactions on this channel and bringing the channel back basically. And yeah, no better place to start really than the Haters Guide UrinatingTree to the 2021 MLB season. And I know the season has started already. Again, it's a week and a bit in. I think it started on like the 2nd from what I remember. But yeah, this is just to sort of get back into the swing of things. And yeah, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy. Leave a like if you want more of these reactions. I know YouTube's been glitchy recently. It's been glitching like weirdly. Like some people have been like liking videos and it's not like actually been liking it, and like YouTube's just doing some weird stuff as they usually do, some sneaky stuff. But yeah, we're back with the reactions. Hopefully you're going to enjoy.
Baseball is in an extremely dangerous situation heading into the 2021 season. Last year was rough, and the league admitted to losing over $3 billion by simply playing games. The chasm between the players' union and owners is widening as they can't agree on anything of note. The league's CBA expires after this season, and there's a chance a work stoppage could be in play. It honestly sucks, and I don't know if we'll be getting a good ending out of this in a year or so. This is when I just want to unplug from the world and relax with my everyday.
I've seen sponsors for this a lot. Raycon, they've got like the Beats looking earphones. But if you're interested, you know how it is. Getting this money, man. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. Especially because his videos do get copyrighted, so I'm happy.
For a 45-day money-back guarantee. You can even save
links in the description to his video if you're interested in this.
15% off your order by going to.
Is this him? Oh, damn! He's actually showing himself in the ad.
MyRaycon.com/Utree. The short-term future of baseball might be in question, but Raycons are as reliable as can be. Same goes for the 30 teams trying to win a World Series this season. They are as follows. I know they're still in the middle of a massive rebuild, but they're throwing over half of their current payroll into a literal crater on Utah Street. There's also Chris Davis somewhere in the corner wondering if he will ever be set free from this hell. Sorry man, Angelos is still a cheap fucking going to keep you down there for a bit. In the meantime, here are some promising prospects on the horizon. And here are Matt Harvey and King Felix to serve as placeholders for the time being. And here is Trey Mancini teabagging cancer. Good for that dude.
Oh
Fuck
shit,
cancer. Just keep showing improvements and you'll be fine. I'm more bullish on them than certain prediction models, I'll say that. The greatest threat to a man in his power is not his rivals coming to undercut him. It's in the king growing so fat and content with it that he grows weak with corpulence. The Red Sox of the past 2 years have undergone a massive payroll cut, and it showed in their on-field product last season. There wasn't much done in terms to fix such pitching woes, barring a mid-tier pickup and a revived Garrett Richards. The team is pretty much on its own for now. Kike Hernandez is a postseason hero in LA, but unless he can magically revive JD Martinez's bat, it may not happen here. But maybe Alex Cora can. Yeah, he's back. He doesn't have the same sheen on him, but this car still has that World Series ring, baby! In an economic downturn on the baseball diamond, there is still one thing we can rely on. The Yankees doing everything they can to get back to the World Series. Bringing back DJ LeMahieu and his reliable...
For me, the Yankees are like the team that just sort of seem to just never sort of fall back again. I don't know the in-depth history or the deep history of the MLB, like top teams and like when teams have fell off, etc. But the Yankees are just that team. They just always seem to be able to compete to a certain degree. Again, I'm probably wrong, but still, I know the Yankees are always just a team. Whether I know the players they have or whatever, they're always just going to be up there doing something, competing to, again, a certain degree.
Bat was a critical component of the offseason, and by God, they accomplished that goal. The Pinstripes need more pitching as arms either decline, retire, aren't as good as advertised, or go back to Japan. The Yankees brought more of them in, albeit those of the risky variety. Corey Kluber and Jamison Tyone, both outstanding talents, but both coming off major injury. Speaking of returns, the organization's facing Brett Gardner is back too. I shouldn't need to lecture more about expectations in the Bronx. They know damn well what mountain they need to climb. After their impeccable World Series run, I expected more baffling decisions to come from the front office that will somehow work out in their favor in the future. On that front, it was at least predictable. It still wouldn't prepare me for what was to come. Blake Snell was not only inexplicably pulled out of Game 6, the team yanked him out and sent him on his way to San Diego. There was also that iffy situation with Randy Arozarena, but that at least seems...
Race star Randy Arozarena detained after domestic violence allegations. Attorney says Randy Arozarena will not be charged.
To have been cleared up for now. Here's the thing with all of this. They got a nice return for Snell. Luis Patino is considered to be one of the best pitching prospects in baseball. Unrelated, Wander Samuel Franco is very close to being ready for big league action. They still have an army of interchangeable assets that will make the team competitive, which means that Chris Archer will somehow return to old form to hoodwink the Pirates in a trade again. I think they'll be around for a while to come. I'm more surprised how long they've been able to sustain it. This is their time. The Blue Jays have toiled in the depths of a youth movement for the past few years, and now is their chance to strike. And in this offseason, they will splurge on the big prizes. For their newest cornerstone, they took a vital organ of the Astro machine, George Springer. For that price, he'll need some reinforcement, and that will come in the form of Marcus Semien. Kirby Yates on a buy low deal provides high reward for moderate risk. In a division that's always cutthroat, Toronto will be eager to get off the ground running with their burgeoning core. And if they're lucky, they can go back to their home city to play games sometime in the future. For now, though, it's a temp stay in Florida. Hopefully not for too long.
Oh, mate, that's
You
crazy.
just can't deprive Canadians of Bichette and Guerrero. Last year showed that the White Sox were ever so close to achieving the next echelon in their performance. All they needed were a few more moving parts and...
So is there still not fans in the stadiums then? Because obviously this is to do with the virus, right? Or is it just because Canada, there's rules in Canada that means they can't have fans in Canada?
New manager to take them over the
stadiums.
top. Southside has the youth to bring in the crowds. Jimenez, Robert, Moncada, Tim Anderson. It'll be a fun team to watch, but to become true World Series contenders, they will need to solidify the depth. Liam Hendricks may have taken a piece of them last year, but he was paid handsomely for his services here. Lance Lynn was brought in from Texas to bolster the rotation. Adam Eaton is back after an exodus to Washington. And for the manager, they got a man of the future. Tony La Russa? They brought in that fossil? The guy who hasn't managed in over a decade? Should they not see how awful his executive tenure with the Diamondbacks was? A good team. Fuck it, Reinsdorf just wants a cigar buddy. I don't give a shit what they're calling themselves nowadays. This team is fucking dead to me. They do nothing but choke away countless prime opportunities, and when push comes to shove, team ownership doesn't want to pay anything to keep the talent they have. What we all saw coming for a few years finally happened. Francisco Lindor is gone. Carlos Carrasco went with him as well. The problem for me isn't in the trade. There's a good chance Andres Jimenez is going to be really, really good. Ahmed Rosario still has pedigree. The team is littered with pitching talent. But what's to stop me from thinking that they're going to be traded in 5 years once they demand real money? The formerly Indians now have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. And it shows in their inactivity in the market. So when do we start putting trade watches on Bieber and Ramirez? This team is still trying to figure out what to do or where the hell to go. It's been 3 years since the start of the rebuild, for Christ's sake. Choose a direction and stick with it! I know they have some guys on the way, but this is the part of the rebuild where we need to start seeing some progress. Barring a miracle, it probably isn't this year, but there is some semblance of hope for once. A new wave of prospects are coming up to get their first test in the show. More veteran placeholders are filling out the lineup. And our old friend AJ Hinch begins his redemption tour for the crime which shall not be named. To be honest, if the Tigers tried to steal signs electronically, it wouldn't be as game-breaking. Might actually make them competitive. The AL Central's other rebuild is also starting to get to the point where we need to start seeing some results. But they've at least had some more youth emerge onto the big league club. Also, like that Tigers team, they're bringing in placeholders in certain spots to make sure the prospects aren't getting rushed. Today's recipients of a decent payday are Mike Minor and Carlos Santana, who have had good seasons as of late but dipped a bit in 2020. If you're the optimistic type, maybe you hope Andrew Benintendi can revive to what was once his promise. Either way, the key for the Royals is simple. Development. They need more of it. You don't want to be drifting nowhere for years, just ask Detroit. I told you back in October, you'll get the rest of your logo back when you win a playoff game. To me, Minnesota is a wild card in and of itself. There are a good bit of question marks in regards to the team. Josh Donaldson and Byron Buxton. Can they stay healthy enough to make a true impact? Will Andrelton Simmons and J. Happ be able to bounce back to old form? Can Nelson Cruz continue to defy time itself to hit a metric barrage of bombs? The goal for them is consistency, and it's sadly something they've lacked a decent bit of over the past few years. When they click, they're an excellent club, but when they don't, it's the equivalent of cock and ball torture. Nothing but a team. Change that this year, will ya? At least you aren't the Texans.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Unlike those two moribund groups, the Astros still have shards of optimism floating around. It might have been the young pitching stepping up in a big way during the postseason last year. And they still have a decent farm system so they can take advantage of a weak division if they're good. Here is where I must tell the unfortunate Astros fans watching that they lost one of their franchise cornerstones in George Springer. He got paid a shit ton in Toronto and left for maple-laden pastures. I mean, they did get Michael Brantley back. That has to at least stand for something. They'll need pieces to step up to fill some big shoes, though. Losing the likes of Springer and Verlander are massive, and their presence on the field will be sorely missed. Not only that, but they're already starting to get hit with injuries to the pitching staff. If Framber Valdez is gone for the season, we will know the debt still hasn't been paid. Okay, Angels, your goal for the offseason was to bring in pitching. Most of it was abysmal or injured last year, and they can't just rely on Shohei Ohtani rising like a phoenix. Let's see here. Raisel Iglesias, good option for the bullpen. Jose Quintana, and Alex Cobb. That's about it. I'm sorry, boys, you needed to do a hell of a lot more than that to fix things up. What else am I supposed to get optimistic about here? Bringing in Dexter Fowler? You've been blessed with a generational talent, an elite third baseman, another top prospect in Joe Adell, and meme lord David Fletcher, yet I have no optimism for it. Not with how questionable the pitching still is. If they can get it together there, they should have a shot at winning the division, but that's more on hopes and prayers at this point forward. Perhaps there's a chance Albert Pujols will return to old form in what could be his final year as well. Oh, before I forget, they even have a legend on the coaching staff now. Dick Pick Mick.
New details emerge about suspended Angels pitching coach. What the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't have the same feeling. There are still plenty of questions lingering about the A's, both on and off the field. The whole offseason was dogged with rumors and speculation about everything under the sun. Will Matt Chapman be traded? Is Billy Beane going to leave the organization? What does the future hold for the franchise in Oakland? For now, we can say it was a mixed bag. The Red Ball Fenway deal fell through, so Beane will be staying put as the team's czar. Matt Chapman was not traded yet, and both of those are good. The Howard Terminal Stadium proposal is starting to get legs under it, so the team may have long-term stability here. Yet for this offseason, they did the bare minimum. Replaced Hendricks and Semien with cheaper options, but that's about it. Nothing against revived Rosenthal and Toronto hero Elvis Andrus, but they just feel like downgrades. The A's will still be competitive, but such is life for a small market club. They're still rebuilding, and Seattle is hoping that a flood of elite prospects come up and bring them new life. Jarred Kelenic, Julio Rodriguez, and Logan Gilbert will hopefully get big league action sooner rather than later. Some of the trades they've made over the past year, there's just more options for them to try out. And look at that, James Paxton is back in the fold after a mixed stint in pinstripes. Welcome home, James. Even better, Mitch Haniger is finally healthy again. Things are starting to look up for the Mariners. I know what you're asking. Where's the dick punch? This is usually the part where you make some stale comment about old narratives that never stick. You see, I would say that, but I think Kevin Mather did that far better than I could dream of doing. Kevin, when you're on a public call, it's best not to say the shit you're not supposed to say out loud. Manipulating service time and depressing player salaries? Cocky as hell, but every team does it. Do they gloat about it to a Rotary Club? Fuck no! Do they go out and whine about a $75,000 expense for a translator? Yeah, no, Kevin. The organization can save money by you getting the fuck out as well. Bitch about Cal Seeker's salary all you want, but guess who gave him that contract? That's right, you did! They'd be wise to keep quiet and focus on the baseball.
Well, they're the worst people. He complaining about something that he's caused himself for. I mean, I can't obviously relate to this exact this scenario, but I can just sort of see how much that would piss people off, man. Complaining about something that you've literally done yourself, man. Like, just relax, man.
I'm just wondering what unwritten rule that this team is going to whine about next.
Oh,
Nobody
God.
likes a snitch. especially when it's for arbitrary shit like Fernando Tatis hitting dongs. Signs are
I
pointing to
remember
it
this
being another rough year in Arlington. It's tough to explain. They're trying to rebuild by not really rebuilding. They'll demand way too much for their players, have their trade values tank, and then ship them off past peak. Just ask Miner and Lynn about that. At the very least, Texas could get a good bit of bounce-back performances from free agents like David Dahl and Mike Foltynewicz. Even guys like Willie Calhoun and Rougned Odor can return to old form. And at this rate, it's all the Rangers can hope for. No league-wide embarrassments this time, please. I know, the choking memes. I enjoy them as much as any shit poster, but I'm pretending to be serious with this shit. So that means I have to ask how this team will improve from last season. Marcell Ozuna is back, which is excellent. If the NL still had a DH. They're gonna have to play him in a corner outfield spot. Not terrible, but not ideal. Ground Chuck is coming back for a homecoming tour. Charlie Morton is the new veteran presence the Braves need to get the young arms up and running. Same goes for Drew Smyly. At $11 billion? Okay, well, we all know the great talent the Braves have in the hitting core. But the young pitching is still unproven or coming back from serious injury in the case of Mike Soroka. They're a question, but an intriguing one. Now go try and overcome some demons. Let's get one thing clear. The Marlins punched well above their weight last season. The NL East was a trash heap on top of trash heaps. The resilience that they showed despite the team being wrecked by COVID early on is something out of a Disney movie. However, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon that this team is going to suck. I think they still have a fighting chance to compete in a cutthroat division, and I know that's a bold statement to say, but I like the burgeoning core. The starting pitching looks damn solid. It's a big ask, but the key once again is in player development. It showed strides last year, and if they can get another year like last season, it might work out in their favor.
Oh shit.
Just a hunch. Daddy Steve is home. After a hard day of running hedge funds and a brief stint on Twitter, he sits back in his rocking chair, puffs a cigar, and reads the evening paper. The New York Mets, his pride and joy, are entering a new age. No longer will they be the staple of the funny pages, but something that can make the Big Apple proud. The offseason wasn't as great as fans were hoping. Only the greatest gawk tease Trevor Bauer has ever done, but I wouldn't say a haul of Lindor, Carrasco, and James McCann is one to scoff at. Just look at Lindor. This dude was born to be a Met. He looks perfect in the orange and blue. It just feels freeing. Can't rely on stale memes for the time being. And your executive branch can't either. Good old Jared Porter. Your GM stint was far too short. Just like something else you have. But that's...
Bro, what is it with all these fucking... What are they called? Just all these coaches getting caught out, all these players getting caught out, like, in the last few months. Jesus, man. I mean, I guess because there's the virus going around and I guess certain lockdowns, etc. Even though there's not really actually a lockdown in the US, is there? I don't know how, like, all these people getting exposed for all these different
Not
things,
for me
man.
to judge. I'm here for the Mets. When I think about their new age, I'm reminded of the words of Mr. Porter. This woman hasn't responded to my last 60 texts. I should send her a pic of my penis. Phillies fans, welcome to the Dave Dombrowski Hour. Team ownership may have pledged to shed payroll this offseason, but that statement is bullshit. You know why? Dave Dombrowski. He will use Jedi mind tricks to convince ownership to spend on bolstering the team. Everyone was afraid of JT Realmuto and Didi Gregorius leaving? Well, they were brought back with some of the finest splurgings in recent memory. The Phillies actually did shit with the bullpen. They aren't the premium names, but they may not have to rely on the Hector Neris matinee every goddamn night. That's a step in the right direction. And if we are to go on the Dombrowski timeline, it will help this team at least reach a World Series, and then the team goes into a tailspin as suspension for sacrificing the future for now burns them in the long run. This is the cost of dealing with Dave. Have fun. After last season's slow deflating death, the Nationals needed a soft reset. With the moves they made, they might have done so. And apparently the answer is in poaching the Rust Belt. Former Chicago Cubs and John Lester, Jeremy Jeffress, and Kyle Schwarber, come on down. Brad Hand to replace Sean Doolittle. Cleveland hates him, so it works out in their favor. Josh Bell, that dude hit like Ryan Zimmerman for 2 months. He could get it back again. Even for their new moves, most of their team is pretty damn old. I'm gonna guess that Scherzer will beat the shit out of a few people and everyone is back in their primes. I can sadly see that happening. At least on the mound. If I have to hear this team cry poor about their finances one more fucking time, I'm going to lose it. Oh no, not the luxury tax! Whatever will we do if the Cubbies can't get fans into Wrigley? I know what, trade you Darvish! Yes, because shipping off one of the best starters you have just for the sake of it is sure to get you brownie points with the fan base. Oh, but wait, they planned for this. You know who's coming back? Jake Arrieta. He's a shell of his former self, but what about the feels? The defenseless Kyle Schwarber and his power is gone too bad. They brought in Jock Peterson, who also hits home runs.
Oh, shit.
Might be Chris Bryant's last season with the club, so we might as well cherish it, right? I'm sold on it now. The Cubs are the Red Sox with different colors. They had their moment and now they're content with it. The result is shedding payroll to treat it as their 1985. I had a feeling that if the Reds were going to do anything, it would have been last season. We're going for that push, and despite all efforts, they failed to score. They set records doing it. And now they get the rewards of losing their Cy Young pitcher, trading their closer, and deal with rumors of the team blowing it all up. Fortunately for Cincinnati, they didn't dismantle the whole damn thing, but questions still remain. To be fair, they did bring in Sean Doolittle, which will be great if he bounces back. I just don't know how you replace Trevor Bauer's production on the mound. You're hoping for some of the farm to pick up the slack, which they can, but do you really want to hope for that? It's a big ask, especially with how the Bats seemingly ran out of gas. The Brewers are in quite possibly the worst position for a team to be in. Limbo. They are competitive. When all things align, they can make a bit of a run, but in most regards, they're just average. Fortunately, the NL Central is very weak, and Milwaukee is banking on it. Instead of focusing on the Bats, they've chosen to cater to team defense. Colton Wong, Jackie Bradley Jr., they're getting Lorenzo Cain back. Signs are seemingly pointing towards a push to a new inefficiency, but the Brew Crew will most likely be doing it without an old face. Ryan Braun. His contract expired and he's probably not coming back. I think the Jackie Bradley signing ended that. At least that whole Christian Yelich and Josh Hader to San Diego rumor did as well. That just didn't feel real whatsoever. Oh boy, you guys, it's another season of Pirates baseball. You know what that means? It's time to blow the team out. To be honest, I agree with this, since they weren't going to win anything with the subpar group they have. I'm glad they faced reality and not tried to be competitive like they were prone to idealize. Yes, I am building my shrine to Kumar Rocker in a closet. Hopefully we won't kill his arm in the minors. It's settled. Bring out the tanks. The long rebuild will commence. We're lucky it won't last 20 years again. You thought the immortal battery of Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina was finished in St. Louis? You're wrong, damn it. They're coming back for another ride. The future is old and full of veteranosity. I'd say the bigger return is in Jordan Hicks, but that's just me. Although their true prize isn't in reunion, it's in the fortune of another organization's cheapness. Meet the new face of the Hot Corner Cardinals. His name is Nolan Arenado. His bat dipped a little bit last season, but that glove, man. You've got at least a couple years of prime production. Plus, it'll help with needing some extra oomph in the lineup. They need more than Goldschmidt carrying the bats. And Arenado will hopefully help out with that. The Cardinals know the NL Central is ripe for the taking, and they've made their move. Let's see if it pans out. The Diamondbacks seem to be the unluckiest organization in baseball. When they try to tank, the team rallies and shows great promise. When they try to invest on that promise, the group falls to absolute shit and the contracts become liabilities. You can only hope that Mad Bum isn't beginning a painful decline, but once again, they're in a tough position. They don't have the horsepower to roll against the Padres or Dodgers. They're not bad enough to claim they're going to outright suck. They still have strong talents in the lineup, but I wonder if this is the part where management throws their hands in the air and sells more key assets. A majority of the hitting core is in their early 30s. You could tell Marte could net them an asset bonanza if they choose to trade him. At this rate, I don't know what to do with them. It's obvious this team doesn't give a shit about anything besides the bottom line, so I won't give them much of the time of day either. Hey, St. Louis, would you like a third baseman on a Hall of Fame trajectory for next to nothing?
Jesus.
Not sold? How about we give you $50 million to take him on? No, we...
What? But the fans must have been fucking fuming.
insist. We'll just use it as a tax write-off for charitable donations. I expect the same thing to play out with Trevor Story later in the year. In the end, all this team will have is the biggest open bar in Denver. Fuck them. Hey, look at that! Ian Desmond opted out again! More money saved!
Wait, so does he opt out because... Like, when players opt out, is it because the virus is going on? Baseball players opting out. It is to do with, like, the COVID situation, isn't it? Oh my days. The NFL and Football Players Association agreed July 24th to an opt-out policy that gives players an opportunity to skip the season and have their contracts moved to 2021. Oh wow, that is insane. But due to health and safety concerns, baseball players have been allowed to opt out of the season if they choose. Oh, this is from last year. Players who have league deemed as high risk will receive their full salary. So he's opted out for 2 straight seasons. That's crazy. I mean, people got to do what they got to do, but that's nuts to me. I didn't. Like, there's no option for that in the Premier League. So it's kind of interesting how it is an option in the MLB and in the NFL, in the American sports leagues.
After years of seemingly throwing money into a black hole of baseball contracts and development, they finally achieved the top prize in a World Series. But you know that getting just one of them isn't good enough. They need more.
Yeah,
what they did this offseason, it proved their case. They have one of the best pitching rotations in recent memory. David Price is coming back into the fold after an opt-out. Gobs of youth are knocking on the door nearly everywhere possible. So how can...
Imagine opting out for a season where you could have won it all. Like, you win the World Series. Do you get medals? Do the players get medals? I forgot if they do or not. Or like a ring or whatever it is. Like, would that player who's opted out be awarded with anything? I assume not. But just imagine being him, man. You must regret that decision so much.
Can you make this even better? Why not a Cy Young winner? Trevor Bauer, after breaking the hearts of every Mets fan in existence, signed at a price that makes the modern man weep. It says something alarming about the current disparity in the league when he will be making more than the 26-man payrolls of 3 teams.
Trevor Bauer is set to make more money in 2021 than these current teams have on their payroll. What? Oh my days. Fucking hell.
I'll still give the Dodgers credit for pushing forward, especially at that luxury tax end. They're eager to maintain their chokehold on the NL West, as they can see an eager challenger in the distance. Ironically, it's to the south of them. There's no contest, and this franchise the title of offseason champions. Unlike their 2015 foray into offseason splurging, there was a legitimate case to adding to this group. The talent that's arrived onto the scene and is still on the way is awe-inspiring. Thought going for Machado and Hosmer was big? Try this on for size.
See, I just remember thinking last year they were going to do bits, and then they obviously got knocked out, but they have got... I remember just sort of seeing the highlights and the clips, and just the moments from some of the players on this team just seemed so insane. I always rated these highly. I guess he's saying these are up there with the favourites, which is interesting to see.
Infused pitching staff. Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, and Joe Musgrove for the rotation. Mark Melanson and Keone Keller for the bullpen. One of South Korea's brightest talents in Ha-Seong Kim for the infield. This team is loaded, and they have one goal in mind. Beat LA. They are the only thing stopping them from a World Series run. And they'll do anything to get revenge for seasons past. The Padres realize they can only fight fire with fire. And this is why you get this smorgasbord of talents and money. I don't know how they can one-up all this goodness.
I saw this, bro. This is nuts. 14-year, $340 million contract. Like, bro, that is ridiculous. I remember seeing this and I was like, what the fuck? But it is Tatis, and I mean, you can't blame him. He's like the rising star. Like, he's going to be the star of the sport. So you can't knock it. It's just crazy, especially 14 years as well. I have never seen a contract that long in any sport. What is the longest contract ever signed in sport? I wonder what it is. Because in like soccer, it's usually like 3, 4, 5 years. Obviously, in US sports, it is typically longer, I feel like. But 14 years, that is insane.
My succulent tender Jesus. Okay. I expected you to trade off assets to capitalize on the strong performances of a few players, but you didn't do that. You added to this team? With more dudes in their early 30s? I get it, Tommy La Stella is a good ball player, but bringing in guys like Alex Wood and Anthony DeSclafani to the rotation? I'm sorry, I don't get it. I felt San Francisco had a golden opportunity to sell high, but either the market wasn't there for them or they chose to hold serve.
Covered market.
The Giants are in the same spot as Arizona is. They're in a de facto no man's land where they have no clear-cut option on where to head in the future. I still have confidence that Saidi will do the right thing for the club in the end, but it may result in a bit of a sell-off come July. Don't say I didn't warn you. The thing with the divisions this time is that it's full of disparity. Some are cut and dry, the others are pretty much anyone's guess. The AL East is intriguing, but I think it goes to the Yankees. The Central, it's a coin flip, and I'm going to say the White Sox will pull through in the end. The AL West, don't hate me, but I'm still going with the Astros. As for wildcards, I'm going to claim them for the Rays and Twins at this point in time. The NL East is going to be brutal, and I believe the Mets can finally end their curse here. The NL Central is a shit show, but the Cardinals will find their way out of the muck. The West is Dodger territory. Sorry, San Diego. You do get the top wildcard spot, though. The second one, I'm going to go with the Phillies. I like what they did with the bullpen, but it's anyone's game. All I can hope for is a good season and no work stoppages in the future. Play ball! Hopefully for a while.
Thanks for watching. Let's shut up and watch Ichiro. I always say his name, Ichiro, in the batting cage. How old is he now? How's him in the background? There we go. I mean, yeah, it's good to get back into this, honestly. It's interesting to see some of the moves that have been made. Please don't go into this one, wait. Cancel. But I was going to say, yeah, but I've noticed on his channel he's not posted anything. Does he not do like a sort of a weekly series with the MLB? Like he did with Sports Ball? Does he not do that? Unless I'm missing something. No, he hasn't. Does he not do like the weekly series of it? Also, I see the I'm definitely gonna have to get into more of these, the sort of the individual team history ones. I used to love them. I'm definitely gonna get back into them ones. But the sun is shining, birds are chirping, and there's a new haters guide to MLB. Nature is healing. Love the Sega Genesis background music. Yeah, careers. They'll get their logo back when they win a playoff game. Tree, you honorary fuck. I love you. Kill the good work. The hero in the cage is one of those almost hypnotic things. Yeah, let's just see. I've just got to see this. Is he? He's not still playing, is he? No, he's not. I was confused for a second. I was like, wait, what? Toronto hero Elvis Sanchez. As an Angels fan, this video hurts every year. Yes, the Minnesota Tees. I feel like we've been talking about the Orioles rebuild every year since the Haters Guide to the MLB was introduced. One thing I'm interested about is not interested about. Well, I remember like when I used to do the baseball reactions before. People like, as opposed to other sports, baseball isn't like whether like when you rank players. The main sort of objective, you don't rate a player based off the awards they've won, like team awards, like on the World Championships they've won, the World Series they've won. So it is kind of interesting because the Angels do have, I remember people say, the best player in baseball currently, or in the MLB currently. But it's interesting how he's rated so highly, but he's not like really competing to that level. It is just interesting that, but I feel like people will mention that unless I heard it wrong, but yeah, so the Angels just aren't rated like that. That's kind of weird to me. But why wouldn't he move to like a team who are competing more? Or is he just he's comfortable where he is? I guess that could possibly be it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm gonna try and have sports reactions coming back. Again, I'm not gonna say every single day because I do a lot of videos now. Patreon, this channel which is coming back, the main channel. But I always enjoy doing the sports reactions. I can only apologise for taking so long. When I get my Wi-Fi back properly, that's when I can sort of get back onto the grind. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoy and suggest more reactions you want to see. Yeah, suggest more reactions like this you want to see. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.